evening and welcome to our Thursday, March 2nd, 2017 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news this evening, Finance Minister defends a value-added tax on private schools' tuition, several communities to benefit from new wells, and ExxonMobil briefs media operatives on its preparation for oil production in Guyana. Stay tuned for these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. Minister of Finance Winston Jordan defends the move to institute 14% value-added tax on the tuition fees for private schools. Details in this Paul McAdam report.
The operators of private schools are reminded that clients cannot be charged for value-added tax unless the institution is registered to do so and their current earnings meet or exceed 15 million Guyana dollars annually. Finance Minister Winston Jordan notes that out of 54 private schools, almost half are not registered with the Guyana Revenue Authority, and only 10% of these are recognized by the Education Ministry. Of this amount, he says that only 20% are registered as non-governmental organizations.
The top 8 of these private institutions have income in excess of $2 billion a year. So 14% on only in the top 8 will give us roughly $300 million on VAT. The top 8 institutions in Guyana, private school institutions that are registered with the GRA, earn fees in excess of $2 billion a year. All right? This is something we knew, and that's why we were putting the VAT, because we know how much we will expect from the VAT if we put the 14% on it. But a quick calculation of 14% of $2 billion will give you $280 million. That's just on the top 8 schools alone.
The minister explains that VAT on most school and educational items and materials has been removed. He adds that many private schools are delinquent when it comes to paying their taxes.
Almost all do not submit returns for their employees. In fact, what they do is tell the employee that they are contracted and they're responsible for their PAYE and the NIS. They don't submit returns. They don't submit employers' returns. They don't file income tax returns for the business, and they don't file property tax returns for the business. I will say it clearly that even if you have the status of a not-for-profit organization, under the law you must file annual returns of income and property taxes. You're not exempt. You're exempt from paying income tax and property tax, but you're not exempt from filing your returns.
The move by some to label the issue as one between perceived good private school and a bad private school system has been noted by Minister Jordan. With some $43.1 billion or 17% of the 2017 national budget set aside for the education sector, the minister says that government is working continuously to improve this sector. He notes that government is not circumscribing the education system by putting a tax on private school tuition fees, a tax which he says is expected to add conservatively from $350 million to government coffers and was carefully thought out.
It's not that we have a fully financed budget from our taxes. We're borrowing. So either we upturn our economic program, which has consequences, or we continue to go on this path and do whatever adjustments we will require to be done, so that we all can coexist, so to speak.
There have been calls for the value-added tax to be removed from the tuition fees from private schools by several stakeholders. There are claims by some that it will result in higher education costs on those that are wont to utilize the public school system. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief.
New wells are to be drilled at Diamond, Sparendam, and Sapphire to provide improved water quality and services to the residents of these areas. More from Zanil Williams.
This morning, a contract valued over €552,000 was signed between the Guyana Water Incorporated, GWI, and Dutch firms of De Ruyter Durigen and Rook South American BV for the construction of the wells. Managing Director of GWI, Dr. Richard Van West Charles, says the contracts also allows for the development of the local technical capacity.
These wells will be completed within a period of 12 weeks, commencing the 1st of June. Additionally, we recognize that there's a need for Guyanese contractors to be updated, and one of the things we shall be doing in every step of the way is to ensure that Guyanese contractors are exposed to new drilling techniques, while at the same time GWI will also be seeking to ensure it has an in-house capability.
Dr. Van West Charles notes that new drilling techniques used to construct the wells will increase their yield and efficiency. Managing Director of South American BV, Martin Bluchemer, says that with the new techniques, GWI would be able to increase their capacity and reduce cost.
We're hoping we can help GWI with refurbishing of water treatment plants and teach them something about rehabilitation of wells, because a well has more capacity than it has now in Guyana, and by treating the well the right way you can increase the capacity and decrease costs.
Since 2016, the water company began the process of familiarizing its staff with new approaches to drilling wells. Sunil Williams reporting for the Government News Brief.
ExxonMobil today briefed the media on developments in the oil and gas sector as part of the Ministry of Natural Resources National Outreach Program towards providing information on Guyana's progress in the new sector. Tiffany Rodias tells us more.
ExxonMobil's country manager, Jeff Simmons, tells local media at a breakfast briefing that the oil company will be plugging $5 billion in preparation for oil production by 2020.
The front-end engineering of that occurs up through the middle of this year. We come to a financial investment decision middle of the year, and then we go forward with spending money at even an accelerated rate for the manufacturing, construction, and procurement of the materials required for the SURF and the FPSO.
Simmons says the company is confident going forward with the development. The country manager cautions, however, that the offshore production will not require a large workforce.
I think the key things here are that facility out there and all that equipment is really high-tech, highly instrumented, and is run basically with 60 to 80 people out on that ship, and that's 2 shifts of people out there. So it's not a people-intensive operation for the actual oil production and operations.
Simmons assures Exxon will be utilizing local content to supply the offshore production.
A lot of the supply of those equipment and materials will be coming from Georgetown Food, Fuel, and other materials.
Already, Exxon has invested US $150 million in Guyanese companies and employs nearly 700 locals. So far, Exxon has invested a total of $800 million in exploring the Stabroek Block offshore Guyana. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rogers.
Minister of Public Health Valda Lawrence appeals to regional health officers and staff to build a resilient healthcare system by providing quality healthcare services. Neola Damon has the details.
Minister Lawrence says that starting from the level of primary health care, the best services available must be delivered despite personal, work-related, or other challenges.
Generally, our doctors, nurses, and caregivers do need to raise the level of patient care service they offer. Too often, we hear of the callous way in which our patients are treated, the long delays, the rude way in which clients are addressed, and just last evening, another minister was asking me to address that issue. Surely, that oath did not state treating your patient with disdain. So I call upon all involved in the delivery of patient care to carry out some introspection and see whether they are acting inappropriately.
The minister explains that proper management of human resources at all levels is necessary, understanding that the welfare and well-being of deployed staff is important. Responsibilities were re-established at the Regional Health Services Department. This was aimed at ensuring an efficient work plan and system to make certain these health professionals are treated humanely.
I imagine there is always reluctance to leave the coast to sojourn in the remote and hinterland regions. But the system of rotation has to be well mapped out and executed so that there is transparency and the stint does not hint or victimization nor reproof. Our customers in the hinterland are deserving of the best primary health care, and we must be prepared to make that sacrifice and make it accessible to them.
The Regional Health Officers meeting is hosted once quarterly by the Ministry of Public Health. One of the challenges continually highlighted by the regional officers is the unavailability of resident doctors and staff at health centers, district and regional hospitals. Neil Damon for Government News Brief.
The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Health has been relieved of his duties following a report from a commission of inquiry into the procurement of pharmaceuticals. Isaiah Prophet has the details.
The COI was conducted due to unauthorized disclosure of information on the procurement of pharmaceuticals at the Ministry of Public Health. According to the reports from the COI, P.S. Thomas was unwillingly evasive and deceptive in his testimony. Minister of State Joseph Harmon, during Cabinet's weekly press briefing, said that Thomas was relieved of his duties on March 1, 2017.
Certain courses of action were taken. The Permanent Secretary, there was a recommendation that the Permanent Secretary be removed from that office, and therefore with effect from the 1st of March 2017, the Permanent Secretary has been removed from that office.
The minister says that the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Colette Adams, will act as Permanent Secretary until a replacement is found. However, the minister added that several other significant recommendations were made by the COI, adding that the Minister of Public Health, Walter Lawrence, has already begun taking actions.
There's several other consequential recommendations that were made, and the Minister of Public Health has actually started taking actions on some of them. She's actually gone around to some of the units where procurement is taking place and actually seen for herself what is happening, and therefore you can expect some radical changes taking place where those things are concerned.
Additionally, the minister says that shortly, significant changes will be taking place with regards to permanent secretaries. Isaiah Prophet, Government News Brief.
This has been another edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GNews website. We encourage you to subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. You can also like and follow us on Facebook to be updated as the news unfolds. Remember to join again tomorrow evening for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Thank you for watching.